Akeem Olufemi Gbajabiamila. God bless you all.
House receives reports of investigation on adulterated petroleum.
The leader when it comes to the digital economy. We are leading in Africa.
And federal government seeks National Assembly support on bill to enhance technology-based startups. A warm welcome to another episode of House Ticket, the legislative program that updates you on bills, motions and other activities of our lawmakers in the House of Representatives. My name is Firdausi Ahmed Wakili. When the committee set up by the House to consider the importation of adulterated petroleum product as well as the lingering fuel scarcity submitted its report before the Easter break, far-reaching recommendations were adopted. House Ticket will bring you a full report of the recommendations of the committee towards forestalling a reoccurrence of the problem. In other reports, the Minister for Communication and Digital Economy was at a session with lawmakers as they sought deeper understanding into a bill seeking to enhance technology-based startups. Details of these and more coming up when House Ticket resumes fully after the break. Keep watching.
If we set our minds right, embrace each other in love and brotherhood, we will come through these troubling times. We will survive, we will recover, and then we will thrive. One nation under God, free, peaceful, and prosperous.
House Ticket will start with a summary of reports presented by committees as well as bills considered and passed during their third reading. The report of the Committee on Petroleum Resources downstream on the issue of adulterated PMS and lingering scarcity tops that summary. Stay tuned.
On Thursday, the 14th of April 2022, the House, before closing for the Easter, considered the report on the issue of the adulterated petroleum product imported into the country. The House had constituted a committee last month under the chairmanship of Representative Abdullahi Mahmoud Gaya to get to the bottom of the matter. Representative Chudi Moma moved for the consideration and stated that the Committee of the Whole had earlier commenced the consideration of the report, but the consideration was suspended to allow for proper restructuring of the report, which has been done. The committee in its report made the following as its recommendations: that the Honorable Minister of Petroleum Resources should expedite action on the completion of the rehabilitation and upgrading of the major refineries at Warri, Port Harcourt and Kaduna to meet AFRI 5 specification to boost local refining and reduce overdependence on imported petroleum into Nigeria to avert reoccurrence. That the Honorable Minister of State Petroleum Resources should initiate the adoption of the 2017 Petrol Standard as approved by the Standards Organization of Nigeria (SON), which include testing for methanol for future importation of the product into the country to mitigate reoccurrence. That the federal government should position the Standards Organization of Nigeria (SON) to implement its mandate to the letter by subjecting all imported white petroleum and other products to the offshore conformity assessment and also resume routine quality control of them and other products imported into the country at our various seaports, airports, borders throughout Nigeria as enshrined in the Standards Organization of Nigeria Enabling Act of 2015. That based on the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited exoneration, the 4 oil marketers and importers, Duke Oil, MRS Oil and Gas, Owando Oil and Emadep, Energy, Hyde, AY Mekipi, Britannia Use Consortium did not commit any offense, therefore are not recommended for suspension. Other recommendations are that the regulatory authority, in this case Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, should ensure proper housekeeping by working with Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, DAPMAN, Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, MOMAN, and the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, in ensuring water is drained regularly out of the tanks in the tank farms, tanker trucks, and underground tanks at service stations, and that the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation NNPC Limited shall maintain local supply and distribution of 90 million liters daily across the country until normalcy is restored.
2, 3, 4.
Similarly, the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Conference Committee on Federal Medical Centers. Representative Muhammad Ali Wudil gives the synopsis of the bill and what it seeks to achieve.
This is a direct and straight bill. You know, there are federal medical centers in existence, but they are not backed by law. So there are two versions passed by the by the Senate and the House. So a committee to harmonize the two versions were set up by this House and Senate, and we searched and deliberated on the areas of the difference which were harmonized, and we laid the report as harmonized by the two committees. So, Mr. Speaker, I think I urge our members to look at the report and do the needful. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
The 28 clauses in the bill were voted for and approved.
Plus 3, plus 4, plus 5. Bill for an act to establish Federal College of Education, UMORAN, to provide full-time courses, teaching, instructions, and training in technology, applied sciences, arts, social sciences, humanities, and management, and to provide for the appointment of the provost and other officers of the college to carry out the administration and discipline of students of the college. And for that matter, now invite the board to give the students the report.
The bill, Honorable Chairman, like the practice provides, was subjected to public scrutiny, contributions, input, and in some other areas, objections to some of the proposals. In earnest, the bill is a product of collective inputs from stakeholders that resulted in the recommendations as contained in the report earlier presented. I therefore ask for the objective understanding of the House to look at it, scrutinize, and approve the recommendation as contained.
All the 23 clauses in the bill were voted for and approved as well.
9, plus 10.
Still on education matters, the committee considered a joint report of the committees on Navy and Tertiary Education and Services. The report was on a bill for an act to establish the Admiralty University of Nigeria, Abuja, as a conventional university with selected programs, limited and focused facilities to promote scholarship, research and other means of advancement of knowledge, and its practical application to military hardware and software, as well as maritime, arts, science and technology, and provide an opportunity for acquiring a higher and liberal education in Nigeria and for related matters.
To provide academic support and opportunities to our armed forces, though not limited to them, within the Nigerian Navy, and of course its extension to members of the Nigerian public. It is a unique university, perhaps the first of its kind in this category itself, and the input of scholars, stakeholders, and interested Nigerians in these sectors were also sought. And the products are products that were considered by both the committees on tertiary education and that of Navy. I therefore present them to committees of the whole
for due diligence and approvals as the recommendations are contained.
The lawmakers approved all the 22 clauses in the bill. Still on consideration of reports, Representative Abdullahi Salame moved the motion for the consideration of a report on a bill for an act to provide a legal framework for the establishment of the National Social Investment Programs for the assistance and empowerment of the poor and vulnerable in Nigeria, and to establish the National Social Investment Programs Coordinating Office within the Federal Ministry responsible for social development to manage the implementation of the programs and for related matters.
The committees carried out extensive legislative work on the proposal and conducted a public hearing in line with the legislative procedure. Having received the various submissions on the proposal, the committee was better informed to produce an improved version of the National Social Investment Program Establishment Bill.
The committee voted and approved the clauses of the bill. Also during the plenary before the Easter break, the House, still under the Committee of the Whole, considered and approved the clauses of a bill to amend the Obafemi Awolowo University Establishment Act.
Was passed in the last assembly but was not concurred with by the Senate before the lapse of the last assembly. The bill before us here therefore seeks to amend the Obafemi Awolowo University Act to specify the minimum qualification of the chairman of the governing council, ownership of intellectual property, and to provide for pre-action notice to the university authority. So I want to believe this is a very contextual and very critical amendment that the university would like this House to consider to allow it to discharge its responsibility as a full-fledged university and to discharge all functions associated to it by the legal framework of this legislative institution, the House and the Senate as well.
Plus 1, 2, 3.
The House reverted to plenary and adopted its reports on the bills.
The House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to amend the Obafemi Awolowo University Transitional Provisions Act, Cap A14, Laws Version of Nigeria 2004, and for related matters, and approved clauses 1 to 5, the long title, the explanatory memoranda of the report.
Another report considered in the period under review was on a bill to amend the Orthopedic Hospital Act in Dekina, Kogi State.
The first bill to consider is for an act to amend the Orthopedic Hospital Management Board Act, Cap 01 Laws, the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to establish the Orthopedic Hospital Dekina, Kogi State, and for these matters. I now invite the leader to give the synopsis of the bill.
Bill to establish such a health facility, I think each and every one of us here will agree with me that it's something that will definitely help humanity in that area or in that part of the Federation. And being a Senate bill, Mr. Speaker, and by virtue of our bicameral existence as an institution, I would like to summarily urge honorable members to allow this bill a speedy passage. Thank you.
Plus 2, plus 3.
The report was adopted.
Approved clauses 1 to 4, the long title, the explanatory memoranda of the report.
Other reports on the bills considered in the Committee of the Whole, as chaired by the Deputy Speaker, Representative Ahmad Idris Wasi, include a bill for an act to establish the National Agricultural Development Fund for the purpose of providing funding for agricultural development in Nigeria and for related matters.
It essentially seeks to create an agricultural development fund for the funding of the agricultural sector against the backdrop of the importance and pivotal role that agriculture plays in our economy, of contributing about 70% of our employment and 40% of our gross domestic product, and having also regard to the paucity of funds when it comes to funding agriculture through the national budget. So this bill seeks to create a vista of opportunities.
This is a very important bill for the country, but we need to ensure that the sources of funding must be well properly placed. So I think there should be room for central bank to contribute money to this funding instead of what is happening, Mr. Chairman. The Central Bank is doing the work of Federal Ministry of Agriculture and other related agencies. So, but this funding can go straight to where it is necessarily needed.
As to including Central Bank to be part of the funding, because Central Bank main function, if you look at it, it's not a revenue generating agency. Let alone to say, okay, we are going to take certain percentage.
No,
but it's an intervention. And in an intervention agency, you cannot specify because you do not know the indicators. And that's why they have to stand alone to be doing their intervention where necessary.
Take, for instance, just of recent, the issue of security trust fund was being challenged by the River State governor. And the court ruled that anything that is not embedded in the constitution, we cannot take money from there to service any other agency or ministry. So what if we do this as being challenging?
Well, we address our challenges as we move on.
Okay.
Clause 9B.
Okay, 9. We are 9 now.
9B. Approve the annual budget estimate of the pound.
Approve?
I think the annual budget estimate of the pound. I think we are trying to give our own powers to the board. So the ideal provision here is to ratify annual budget estimate of the fund for presentation before the National Assembly.
Maybe instead of approve, say consider.
Okay.
You delete the word approve to consider, because the approval should come to the parliament naturally. Yeah. I agree to what he's saying, because it can be it's subject to abuse.
Yeah.
That's why they consider. The board should first consider before now the parliament approve.
Yeah.
Thank you. 9, got it? As amended. 10.
Yet another bill before the Committee of the Whole House was a bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Education, Birniwa, Jigawa State, to provide full-time courses, teaching instructions and training in technology, applied sciences, arts, social sciences, humanities, and management, and for related matters.
Mr. Chair, this bill is pretty straightforward. It's an establishment bill that seeks to establish College of Education in Birniwa, Jigawa State for the purpose of offering courses in various fields of endeavor, as stated here. I seek the cooperation of our dear colleagues to give it expeditious consideration.
The House also considered and adopted the committee report on a bill for an act to repeal the Federal Capital Territory Abuja Area Courts Act 2010 and enact the Federal Capital Territory Abuja Area Courts Bill to, among other things, expand the jurisdiction of the area courts to entertain both civil and criminal matters and for related matters.
Mr. Chair, this bill seeks to simply expand the jurisdiction of area courts in the Federal Capital Territory to include, criminal matters, in addition to the civil that they currently entertain.
The reports were adopted when the House reverted to plenary.
I move that the reports of the Committee of the Whole be adopted by this House. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
You're still watching Houseticket, a program that updates you on efforts by the House of Representatives as it creates laws for the protection, growth, and development of Nigeria. Providing an enabling environment for technological innovations was top on the agenda when lawmakers recently interacted with the Honorable Minister of Communication and Digital Economy. What were the talking points? Find out in our next report.
In addition, they are not...
The Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Isa Ali Pantami, said the federal government is seeking the support of the National Assembly to create the enabling environment for technology innovators. The minister stated this while briefing members of the House of Representatives, led by the House Leader, Representative Adodogwa, on an executive bill titled A Bill for an Act to Provide for the Creation and Development of Enabling Environment for Technology-Enabled Startups in Nigeria.
The bill that was presented to the National Assembly by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is on the creation and the development of our startup ecosystem.
The minister gave further clarifications of the issues involved.
The leader when it comes to the digital economy, we are leading in Africa. We have the largest digital economy. We have the most successful digital economy. For example, just consider unicorns. There are 7 unicorns in Africa today. There are 7 unicorns in Africa. 5 out of 7, their root is from Nigeria, meaning their origin is from Nigeria out of 7. Then only 1 in Senegal, the other 1 in Egypt. But 5 of them are from Nigeria. One of the unicorns, unicorn is a startup or a company that has a value, a minimum value of 1 billion USD. 1 billion USD. So there are 7 now in Africa, but 5 of them, their origin in Nigeria, their origin. Some of them, because of lack of the enabling environment, their offices are here in Nigeria, their activities are here, but they will go to another company and register there. Why? Because there is no coordination here and there is no any law to protect the business.
Pantami further disclosed that the passage of the bill will help Nigeria to start producing subscribers identification module or SIM cards. Responding, the House Leader, Representative Ado Dogwa, said the interaction was necessary so as to provide background information that will enable lawmakers defend the bill on the floor of the House during debate.
But when such engagements are sustained, then definitely at the end of the day, when we present the bill on the floor, we will be coming from the point of strength. We will be coming from a point of knowledge, point of high-level information, so that no one question from the opposition or any other person on the floor, whether meaning well or otherwise.
He appreciated the minister's efforts on digital transformation among other initiatives.
Requested the GMD of Nigeria.
In another development, the House Ad hoc Committee mandated to investigate the state of refineries in Nigeria and the cost of their rehabilitation has during a press briefing expressed its displeasure for the failure of the Group Managing Director of NNPC and General Managers of the refineries to appear before it alongside the Minister of State for Petroleum. Representative Ganiu Johnson chairs the committee.
You may all recall that the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Femi Gbagyabiamila, in January 2022, constituted this committee to determine actual cost of rehabilitating the refineries and what is needed to bring them back to maximum refining capacity. The committee was mandated to determine the true state of the refineries, ascertain the actual cost of rehabilitating the refineries and what is needed for the refineries to function at optimal capacity.
He said the committee had requested the NNPC and general managers of Kaduna, Warri and Port Harcourt refineries to turn in vital information but failed to do so.
The committee therefore, relying on the relevant laws and pursuant to the provisions of sections 62, 88 and 89 of the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria of 1999 as amended, requested the GMD of Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, to forward a status report on the nation's refineries and the actual cost of rehabilitating the refineries from 2012 to date.
As a resolution, the committee had issued ultimatum to Minister of State for Petroleum, Group Managing Director of NNPC and others to appear before it.
As chairman of this honorable committee, I hereby summon the Group Managing Director of NNPC, the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, and the General Managers of Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna refineries to appear before the committee on Thursday 28 April 2020 to avoid legal, constitutional, and parliamentary measures to be taken against them in order to compel them to appear.
House2Ked remains committed to bringing you up-to-date reports on the strides of Nigeria's lawmakers at the House of Representatives. Keep a date with us for detailed information from plenary and committee settings on various bills, motions, amongst other matters of national importance. Until I come your way again, keep the dream of one Nigeria alive. Bye for now.